Coaches Roundtable. I'm Ed Codi. Welcome our guest, former University of Pittsburgh quarterback, now the Senior Associate Athletic Director of Development and Major Gifts, and starting his 11th year as color commentator for Pitt football alongside Bill Hillgrove. Pat Bostick, thanks for joining us, Pat. How are things going?
Going great, Ed. Thanks for having me.
Hey, Pat, last year we talked about there was the excitement and the buzz around the Pitt football program with Kenny Pickett coming back. They go on to win their first ever ACC championship. But, you know, in college football, things change in a hurry. Pickett's gone. Offensive coordinator Mark Whipple's gone. Blitnikoff Award winner Jordan Addison, his 100 catches, he's taken those to Southern California. So the question I'm asking you, is Pitt capable of defending their ACC championship?
Oh, without question. Yeah, I think this is a team where there's probably more proven commodities back than there even was a year ago. Obviously, you know, Kenny Pickett notwithstanding, he was such a calming influence and it's such a terrific year. It's going to be hard to replace that with any one quarterback or one player. But I would say that this team is more balanced than the team from a year ago. Frank Cignetti coming in as offensive coordinator. I'm familiar with Frank. He was my coordinator for 2 years at Pitt. This will be a team that looks to establish the run. They've got all 5 offensive linemen back, all 5 seniors. Israel Bannican, Rodney Hammond Jr. picked up a couple transfers that I think will help him back on offense with Kanate Mumpfield, a receiver, freshman All-American from Akron, and Sibo Flemister, a transfer running back from Notre Dame. And then the quarterback position obviously will be critical. It's critical to any championship team. And the battle between Kedon Slovis and Nick Patty continues in training camp. But on the defensive side, this team is loaded. That front 7, really that front 4 with that defensive line is probably 10, 11 deep.
2 of the best defensive linemen in the country.
Yeah, I mean, with Baldonado and obviously Kalijah Cansey, but then Deslin Alexander, David Green, John Morgan, Deion Hayes, the local kid from the City League. This defensive front is going to be a problem. And I think we'll see a lot of that starting on September 1st.
Pat, everyone wants to talk about the quarterback situation, whether it's Pitt or the Steelers. So is there a real battle? Does Patty have a chance to be the quarterback?
I think so, yeah. I mean, number one, Nick's got the respect of his teammates and this coaching staff. He's a guy that's waited his turn. He's come in big moments and made big plays. He's won games for this Pitt program, and that's hard to replicate. So, you know, I think the situation is fluid. Obviously, from day to day, they're gonna mix reps up just because you have to have 2 guys ready. Obviously, Kedon Slovis comes in with tremendous pedigree. He's thrown for 7,500 yards in his career, over 50 touchdowns. He's a guy you know what you're going to get, but you know what you're going to get with Nick too, and that's a guy that can make plays and who's a leader. And certainly someone that this whole team respects.
Pat, we talked last year briefly about NIL, but in a year, things have changed even more dramatically. And you saw it firsthand with Jordan Addison leaving to go to USC, reportedly a $3 million deal. When I had Pitt guard Jake Crato on the show a couple of weeks ago, Jake, it seemed to be there's no animosity by any of the players. They understand the situation. And I explained to him how the University of Texas offensive line, not as good as Pitt's, those players got $150,000 from the Pancake Factory, $50,000 a starter. And I could see the interest in Jake, would love to have a deal like that. So how is Pitt competing in this new atmosphere of all this money being thrown around? And we laugh here when the NCAA says NIL is not to be used to recruit players. We know that's a joke.
Yeah, it's certainly a totally different climate than 18 months ago. Obviously, July 1st of last year was a moment in time that had changed, I think, college football and major college athletics forever. But we're strongly competing. You know, we're in a city, we're in a top 25 media market. Our student athletes, our football players, those young men have an opportunity to be as visible as anybody in the country on a daily basis. And, you know, our guys have done a good job capitalizing on those opportunities. You know, a lot of what you see in NIL that's not NIL proper around the country is, these collectives being born at schools and where donors put money together and are able to orchestrate NIL deals. That certainly is something that Pitt boosters have gotten behind. At least I see that from my chair. We can't be involved in that, nor can the coaches. But the Pitt fan base, the Pitt faithful, has done an outstanding job supporting our student athletes both before NIL and now after. It's a different set of rules now, and but certainly it's being weaponized, and you've got to be on the defensive. With our program, the most important thing is to retain, because our coaching staff does a great job developing talent, and others are going to want to try to pluck from that for sure.
Well, we say here on the show there's recruiting, and then there's recruiting within the recruiting, keeping players in your program, and now this becomes maybe part of your job to get boosters to help out with the NIL. It's hard to say anything bad with what was offered to Jordan Addison. How does a kid turn down a $3 million deal?
I mean, hey, whatever is being reported, I don't know what's true and what's not. That's the other hard part about this, Ed, is you don't know what's true and what's not out there. Only the athletes to their agents and the other parties know. But hey, these young men have a chance to transfer, to take that opportunity. It may now be unlimited. That's a rule I know is being proposed. You just hope that this doesn't change one of the core values that comes from being a major college athlete or an athlete period, which is the ability to stick through adversity. When something goes wrong, the best answer isn't always to just run. And I think that's the negative side of the transfer rule. And certainly now the NIL part of it can be weaponized and used as further inducement for these athletes to transfer and look for greener pastures.
Well, I know one thing, it's true. You were born too early. Had you now and led Pitt to those upset, historic, iconic wins over undefeated West Virginia, 13-9 in Morgantown. And then a year later, 2008, you go to South Bend, your childhood team, and you lead the Panthers to a 4-overtime 36-33 win over Notre Dame and South Bend. You'd be the Warren Buffett of college quarterbacks. You do that today.
I don't know about that. Again, my NIL deal would be a nice, maybe a dozen wings a week. That'd be perfect for me. I'm like an O-lineman at heart.
Hey, Pat, let's talk about expansion. There's bound to be more. These lucrative TV deals, so much going on. How worried should the ACC be about losing Miami and Clemson and Florida State to the SEC?
I think, obviously you should be concerned. I mean, that keeping your league together, keeping your team together in today's day and age is of the utmost importance. And I think, you can do that, sitting there and trying to hold people hostage isn't the way to do it. I think, the ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips has been both strong in our grant of rights deal, which goes through 2036 and is pretty. I don't think it's preventative of someone departing, but certainly it's $150 million per school buyout would be something you wouldn't blink at. But I think looking at strategic expansion partnerships with the Pac-12 and/or Big 12, ways to solidify the brand of non-Big 10, non-SEC football. Because those leagues are trying, obviously, to monopolize things. And certainly they've succeeded from a revenue standpoint, but they're not going to succeed from the standpoint of the quality of player that's still available to come to schools like Pitt in North Carolina, Boston College, Clemson. This league, the ACC, I would say this year is as strong as it's ever been competitively. But certainly from a revenue standpoint, there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order for schools like Miami and Clemson that have national brands to merit staying in the league long term.
Hey, Pat, finally, the season's going to open September 1st against West Virginia and then September 10th, Tennessee. 2 tough opening games. How critical if Pitt wants to have another 10-win season, back-to-back 10-win seasons, first time in 40 years, maybe a top 15 program. They have to win both of these games. Can they get by with a split?
You want to win both of them. I mean, I think that certainly the first one is critical because there's, it's a regional rivalry. It's 11 years dormant and returning for the first time, and that's a game that's going to be on national television, as will week 2. So, you want to be a top 10 team. You want to talk about college football playoff. You got to win these 2 games, and I think it's a ramp to a top 10 ranking if you win these 2 games.
Hey, Pat, always great to have you on. Look forward to seeing you at the West Virginia game. You do a great job, color commentary, and we'll see you soon.
All right, Ed. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I'll be right back with Alan George. I am back, joined to my right by the Swami George Abraham, to my left the Tiger Albert Campman. On the Spotlight area baseball, Seneca Valley overcame a 7-1 deficit to beat Butler Township 11-10 to win the Butler County Area Baseball League Championship. Gavin Zoli had the winning hit in the bottom of the 8th, and Aiden True added a 2-run home run in the comeback win. Hornets racing at the Meadows. Brady Big Bucks Brown of Slip Rock steered Open Bar to victory and a split of a $40,000 prize check. Brown now has 995 career wins. Steve Schofel of Evans City was the trainer, and also Sean Johnson of Evans City drove home Drawbert to victory in and a $5,200 prize check. Coaching news, Chanera Wilson, who has been an assistant at Slippery Rock University for the past 5 years, she's been named interim women's basketball coach, succeeding Bobby McGraw, who died last month, and she's going to have a difficult task at hand keeping this team together.
Oh, yeah, it's a tough job as it is, let alone under these circumstances. And the fact that they used the interim tells you that she better win.
And she has some coaching experience. She coached at Mercyhurst Northeast Junior College.
Yeah, that's Shannon Pullian's the coach there now. He's the old Erie High coach.
Bill, going from assistant to a head coach is a big jump.
Big jump,
You know,
especially under these circumstances. Very difficult.
even
Oh.
under normal circumstances. But this is
Right.
a really different one, right?
And 2012 Slippery Rock High School grad and Westminster College grad Kelsey Riot. She's named the Pitt assistant swim coach. She's a former swimmer at Westminster, and she coached also at Westminster and Bucknell. And in recruiting news, Butler track and field long distance star Ryder Criley, he has committed to Syracuse. He joins a long and growing list of Butler track athletes to commit to Division I schools this year. I believe he's the 5th or 6th
Impressive.
recruit
That
for
might be the reason
Division
why
I.
they want to
Won
state
championship, I would think. And Slippery Rock University wide receiver Sinku Sweeting invited to the New England Patriots training camp. Sweeting, 5'10", 195, has good speed, around 4'4", had 60 receptions last year. Could also return punts. Maybe has a chance.
Well, you get your foot in the door, you do something special, and all of a sudden another team hooks on. That's how it works. He won't end up in New England, but he'll end up on somebody's practice squad, and all of a sudden 2 years down the road, maybe he might make it.
Especially if he can bring back kicks.
Yeah.
I've watched so many teams struggle.
And they've had a penchant of picking up guys you never heard of. But a lacrosse player said Hogan, it turned out to be one of his best receivers. And Julian Edelman, who wasn't even a receiver in college, he was an option quarterback.
Absolutely.
Hey, in honor of Stephanie Simony, Mars High School, not Westminster, she was named to the 2022 Intercollegiate Women's Lacrosse Association Division III academic honor roll, where you have to carry a minimum of a 3.5 grade point average.
Yeah, we have the commissioner on our radio show, and he says that's the greatest award he gives out, that the All-American Academic Awards.
Let's go to our stories of the week. Major League Baseball, the Pirates dropped to last place in the Central Division, a half game behind Cincinnati after losing 7 straight. On average, the Pirates struck out around 12 times every game, more times than they had hits, and 20 times against the Cubs in that loss, 5-4 loss. The Phillies sweep the Pirates, holding the Pirates to just 5 runs in 3 of those 4 losses. The trading deadline, we didn't mention last week, they traded DH Daniel Vogelbach to the Mets for a 26-year-old reliever. I thought they were calling Holderman. They sent him down to the minors. He was 4-0 with a 2.04 ERA. Then they traded Jose Quintana to St. Louis.
Yeah, it's if you're a Pirate fan, it's a really struggle with watching this lineup intact right now.
You were down there. What you tell me?
Yeah, I was there.
No major leaguers.
Yeah, when Reynolds was out of the line, he was out of the line at the time.
Yeah,
Hayes, and
he's really struggled.
And he's the only guy that really, talking about true major league experience, and he's only been there 1 year. They have players that coming and going so much
you can't
that keep track.
The other night I'm listening, and I hear a guy say, "Well, he's at first base for the first game, game 100, and you got a guy." They don't even have the advantage of playing together.
And I'm watching a game, and I see the center fielder comes up, Allen, and they put his batting average up. I said, no, that must be a mistake. 120. I've never heard of that before.
They have about 7 of them close to it. I mean, I was
Mario
there.
Mendoza, he'd be a millionaire today.
Yeah, the 200.
Yeah, I
You know,
was there.
hey, the big star that they rave about, he's barely over 200.
Yeah, 204.
Yeah.
242 lifetime. 242 is the major league average. So it's
Well-
no one has bad averages. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Philadelphia's don't think they were any better. They came up 190, 200,
Wow,
180.
we're old school. Batting average, RBI still
Yeah,
matters.
the worst is worse. That's what the worst part of their team though.
Oh.
Their pitch is worse than their hitting.
Oh, my.
Now, we started last week, ran a state of the game, and I told you 21 of 30 teams in attendance decline. As of June, a 5.4% decline. You're the math guy. 1% decline each year of the last 15 years.
Absolutely.
When you say 1%, that's
it's not two numbers
but
off
then
the
you
end.
put
It's 1
you put
100.
15 years in a
Absolutely.
row.
Absolutely.
Now,
But see, the problem is the TV money compensates,
It does.
and
Right.
the luxury tax money for the Dodgers who have no budget. They don't care what it costs.
Well, I'm going to get to TV viewership, but in terms of fans in the ballpark, fannies in the seats, 2007, 80 million fans, Major League Baseball games. 2019, it was 68 million. Last year, it was 45.3. Now, listen to the Pirates' attendance. 2015, they averaged 30,000 a game. Last
part
year,
of it.
last year it was 10,600.
Yeah.
So far this year, it's 15,000. But you know, them losing like this and football starting, that's going to drop.
Yeah, I'm one of the example. I used to go to 30 games, and I'll go to 5 this year. So I'm part
You
of
still
it.
making money.
You'll make the money,
Oh, make a lot of not little money,
but
a lot of money.
but there, from what I'm reading, and there are concerns. They are really worried about the drop in attendance, and TV viewership is down 12% from 2019 2021. The weekly games are way down.
Oh yeah.
This year's All-Star game, 7 million, was the lowest rated in history. Now here's how they try
Well,
to.
let me say something about that All-Star game. He'll mention it. You did too. You were alive when they played 2 times, and you never saw them
Yeah.
usually go against Alkaline.
Yeah.
They're killing their own product with
Right.
interleague baseball.
Absolutely. And the other thing, here's how they try to defend only 7 million white, while the NBA only had 6.8 million.
Don't compare with anything now.
What's it going to do with it?
What's that have to do with it?
Yeah.
And they said, oh, National Hockey League was the worst, 1.15 million. Once again, you need to figure out what's wrong here
With your
game.
clean up your yard first.
Yeah,
Right, yeah.
fix yourself first, then worry about
Absolutely.
fixing the rest of the world. And the price for the game continues to go up. I found this out. The average Major League Baseball family of 4 to go to a game, tickets, parking, couple dogs like you like, and it's $256.
Well, I spend it every time I go.
Yeah.
So I know.
And
that's
that's
a
cheap.
bargain,
I heard a
200.
lady the other night. She got 4 seats to a Cowboy game. She said, "Though I was all done, I south of $2,000." My buddy went to a Washington Nationals game.
Yes.
Took his 3 daughters, $150 a piece for the tickets, $50 to park, $11 a Coke, $9 a hot dog, no cash.
Yeah, I think you'll do that for like a football game, pro football game. But how many baseball games will you do that now for with a family of 4? Now, help us on the way. Maybe. You tell me. Already the universal DH, extra innings, a runner on second base. You know, I was watching the other day, and I saw Cruz start. I said, how did he get on second base? Then he was picked
Well, he
off.
wasn't there long. He was looking around.
I forgot that they started extra innings like
Yeah.
that. Now, next year, bigger bases. I have no idea what
Yeah,
that.
what is Albert?
I don't know
What
what
is the
that means.
purpose? Do you have any idea?
Yeah, the shorter route to the base.
Oh,
And try to do all they
you
think
gotta
they
be
can.
kidding
No,
me.
that's one of the reasons. They
How
want
much
runs.
bigger is
big
it going to
way.
be?
They want runs.
Oh,
Oh my
God.
goodness!
No shifts.
No, they have that. There's a
pitch-
pie. There's a pie piece.
A pitch clock. I could hear Bob Prince spinning in his grave because he always used to say, "One game where there's no clock."
I know,
Well,
hey, you know
Bob-
what else? I heard some guy. Oh, who was it? It was one of the pitchers. He was saying, they got to get the hitters.
That's part of it.
Yeah, it's
That's
not
part of
all
it.
the pitchers.
Now here's one for you. Advertising on uniforms. You're going to take those iconic Yankee uniforms and
They're
put
gonna-
what?
yeah.
Bob's Pizza Shop
Tires
on
for
them.
less. Absolutely.
Oh, it's coming. That's there.
Let me ask you something.
It's there.
Do these major league executives, do they stay up all
Yep.
night figuring out more ways to ruin this
Well,
game?
they have no leadership, Manfred.
Oh, my
But listen,
God.
let me say this. Oh, I hate to defend that. I watch the NBA games and I don't see those ads, and they're there.
Oh.
You're so used to seeing the that little thing.
I
will
love
be
the
in-
Yankee
Yeah.
uniforms.
Oh yeah, they
And the
don't no
Cubs
names
uniforms.
no names in the back
Oh,
for the
my
Yankees.
God.
You know.
Uh, you could see the advertising
Oh yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
Hey,
Do it for less.
Who's hot? The Yankees' Aaron Judge, 41 home runs, second fastest to 200 in Major League Baseball history. There's no drama from this guy. He just goes out and plays. Kind of a throwback to the old guys. I was reading about Mickey Mantle used to hit home run with his head down. I never saw Aaron or Mays do anything dramatic out there.
That's a major change too.
Yeah, that's a major change.
Yes. Don't flip
And-
that bat in the air. I love when they flip the bat in the air and it's caught at the warning track. And they think it's a home run. They
The
catch it
joke
anyway.
could be on second, and he's still on first
Yeah.
base.
And by the way,
Oh.
a 1952 Mickey Mantle card now going for 10 million, up to 10 million at an auction. 10 million.
Hey, I'm going to ask you. I asked Al this on the ride over. When you hear Judge's number, what number in your mind is he chasing? 60, 62, or 73?
I think he's chasing 60. So,
Okay.
but for this reason, I think closer to the pennant race, they're going to start walking him more. They're going to pitch around him more. I think so. I just love to watch a guy play. He's just a throwback.
I didn't realize
Reminds
he
me
was
of the old
30
days.
years old. I thought he was only like 25, 26. He's 30. I didn't
Yeah,
realize
he's 30. Hey, show me the money. The Mets, Juan Soto, 23 years old, always has a World Series ring, Silver Bat Award, and now he's looking for a contract of over $500 million plus. The Yankees, Dodgers, Astros, Cardinals,
Forgot one.
Padres too, interested. It would take an act of Congress and a tap into the Federal Reserve to keep him in Washington. He's gone. It's a shame they can't keep him.
Yeah, the same teams cannot keep their players. It's the truth. It's just the same teams you named are out there every year.
Hey, you know
Every
what? Too
game.
last night MLB they had the 5 tools listed, and they were showing highlights. He blasts one into the gap, hits a homer, throws a guy out. In other words, he showed all 5 tools in about 5 innings.
How's his 5 tools doing for Washington this year? That's
Yeah,
no, I mean that
they're-
seriously.
they're-
If I don't think one player
He can make
can
a difference.
change the game.
Well, that's why
what
they're
I'm saying.
not-
So that's what I'm saying.
But
So-
he could keep-
But for the Dodgers,
He-
Oh,
they already have a load.
He
No.
can keep the rich richer.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
No,
Washington. You could, like Eddie said, you could always walk him if you wanted.
Yeah,
I mean, What are
exactly.
they going to do?
Now this is a tale for Pirate fans that take note of. Former Pirate pitcher Joe Musgrove is going to sign a $100 million deal with the Padres. There is no current Pirate who's ever going to see a $100 million
And that's
deal
why
from
that's
the
why
Pirates.
that's why they struggle. I don't care what people say about money.
Yeah,
The Pirates have the best pitcher staff in the world playing for other teams.
Other teams, look at 'em.
That's what
You
I'm
could go
saying.
down the list
So
and
they just,
name 'em.
they just can't pay.
But-
Wait a minute. I didn't say they can't. They don't.
they
So I
don't want
can't say
to,
that.
and they're profitable. Hey, NFL Steelers complete first week of practice, quarterback derby. What I'm hearing from the riders who were there, some of the players, Mason Rudolph drawing high praise from the riders in camp, and Chase Claypool. And sorry, Big Ben still back in the news when asked why he
jeez.
didn't win
Fucking
more
still
Super
playing.
Bowls, because many of the players were me players, in which Cam Hayward jumped all over him
He
for
walked
that
it back.
comment.
He walked it back.
Yeah, did he walk
Yeah,
it back?
yeah.
But he
Yeah,
just can't help himself,
No.
can he?
No.
No.
Hey, let me ask you guys about whatever. Sit in, hold in, Deontay Johnson, 195 catches last 2
He'll be
years.
signed.
I
He'll be
think
signed.
I think he deserves a better
He's going to be
contract.
signed. He's going to be
But
signed.
what about this sit in, hold in that started with JT Watt last year?
Yeah.
He's taking part in individual drills,
Mhm.
but no team drills.
Hold in. I just like the word hold
Afraid
in.
to get
Hold
walked
Jeez,
up on somebody walking on his ankle, whatever. That's what.
Yeah,
it's-
really.
I'm
You
just,
think he'll
I'm
get 20 million?
Yeah, he's going to get it.
Boy,
I
that's a
don't
lot.
think. I think they're.
Well,
gonna-
let's put this. I'm wrong. Say he's going to get a big contract.
I think he's
I
gonna
can't say. I
Okay,
can't say
here's
the
what I
number.
think would be fair. I might be wrong. 10 or 12 million a year for 3 years.
He's
with
not gonna
20
take
million
that.
No, he
guaranteed.
won't
He's
take
not
that.
taking that.
He,
Well-
he isn't Metcalf, and he isn't maybe top 4 or 5, but he's top
He's pretty
10.
good.
Absolutely.
That's
pretty
why he's
good.
going to get it
Yeah.
because he's a good player.
I-
He's not Watt, but he's going to get that money.
I don't think he gets more than 15 million.
I think
because
that's what he's going to get.
that-
Yeah, I think he's hit the magic number. I think he's going to get 15
they,
million.
they paid Fitzpatrick that ton, Watt, and then Trubisky will be a free agent
See
if
what-
he has a good
See
year.
what Bell said about it? He put one black hand and one white hand up on Twitter and said that's why one guy got his money, Watt, and why
That's
Johnson
so
didn't.
stupid.
Oh, I just
No, I'll call him out on that.
Burrow's going to get
You
50 million a
understand?
year.
I'm a Steelers
yeah, like
fan.
they care.
No,
Yeah.
Watt is 1,000 times better than Johnson.
Yeah, there's no
that's
comparison.
as simple. And Hayward, if he wanted the money,
Yeah.
I'd give it to him. Has nothing to do with black or white.
Yeah.
How good are you?
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. And Watt's one of the three best
And don't
defensive
forget,
players in
Le'Veon
football.
I think
Bell
he's the
left
best.
under bad
No,
circumstances.
Darnold's the best.
Donald,
Darnold's
okay.
the best.
And
Donald.
by the way, Murray
the best.
signs for $46 million a year, but he has to have a tutor and has to do his homework. Is this you went?
Yes, turn the TV off before he
Turn the
watches the
TV
film.
off.
Absolutely.
Put those cartoons off. That's
And Burrow's going to get $50 million.
You know
a
the
year.
story where that comes from.
Yeah, I know.
The guy that had the big game against Notre Dame in the bowl.
Yes.
Well, they were giving him the Stooges, and he was saying they come in next day. How'd you do against that blitz? Al? He goes, "Oh, I got it all now. I watched it here. They were giving him the Stooges."
Hey guys, sad story coming out of State College. You want to get the tissues out. New Penn State AD Pat Kraft and Coach James Franklin are so upset that Penn State has to open on a road at Purdue. This is 7th straight year. This is not fair. This should not happen to Penn State.
Jeez.
When they call the Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren, you know what he should say to them? Shut up.
Oh my
Just go,
gosh.
do you ever hear Mike Tomlin
Just go in.
or Chuck Noll complain about their
Just go
who
in.
they're going to
Just
open
go-
up with?
See that's a building excuse
Ah,
for your players. And that's there's nothing worse than being a coach that makes
That's
excuses
what we
because
talked.
the players will buy right in behind him.
shouldn't Tomlin call
What do you-
Roger Goodell? They got to open at Cincinnati, come home to New England, and go to
don't
Cleveland.
forget now, one
That's
of them
not
you
fair.
make and one of them the league makes. It's
Yeah.
not quite the same.
Yeah, I know.
But I
And
hate
Penn
that-
State
but-
gets what, 8 home
Yeah, they only
games?
have 8 home games.
But I hate it at junior high. I don't care where you're coaching. Don't make excuses
Just
for
play.
your players.
Go play. That's all.
It's
You're right.
unbelievable
Terrible.
that they
No,
would complain.
no,
It's
Oh,
embarrassing.
Not to mention, who has a better home field advantage than that whiteout against Ohio
And that's
State?
why he wants to be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not Akron. They're
No.
at Purdue, and Purdue has a very, very
We
good.
talked
I
about
think
that.
it's more about them
That
opening
might
up
be,
Purdue.
yeah.
They probably wouldn't say a word if it was Indiana.
Or Akron. You're right.
Yeah. Hey, that's it for us. We went out of time. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. I didn't get to Bill Russell. We'll get him next week.
It is strange.
Armstrong is honored to commemorate the 5th anniversary of our Healing Heroes initiative. With your support, we've tripled our goal by raising $338,000, enabling us to provide 15 area veterans with service dogs. We continue to encourage veterans in need of this life-changing assistance to apply for a Guardian Angels medical service dog by visiting armstrongonewire.com/healingheroes and clicking Apply Now. Together, we can unleash the power to heal.